Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of the Keptn Community and Developer Meeting. It's April 22nd and we have quite an agenda for today. I think it's been a long time since we had this long list of agenda items, so I try to keep it short from my side. First part, please add yourself to the attendee list. Please follow the CNCF code of conduct here, since Keptn is a CNCF project. First part that I want to announce is that we have sent out a survey the last couple of weeks on the Keptn newsletter, and we now rework this, and we are coming up with a new newsletter format. So please make sure to also subscribe to the newsletter. The link is here, and the cadence will be now a bi-weekly cadence with all the latest information on the Keptn project, with latest releases, latest blogs, tutorials, everything you want to know about the projects, about the Keptn project, new integrations, for example. Everything will be part of this newsletter, so please make sure to subscribe to this newsletter. The link is already live. We put it in here live today. Please subscribe via keptn.sh. Also, please update your Keptn installations. We have been in contact with quite some Keptn users, and some of them are still running .7 something releases. Please make sure to update to the latest version. Maybe the latest version is not even possible because it's just being released right now. But if you have .7 something running, please make sure to upgrade to 0.8, and please make sure to keep an updated Keptn version. This helps us in supporting you also. And the last thing I want to announce here, the other things you can just read it in the meeting document, but we are looking for a new code owner on a very important project of the Keptn Contrib organization. It's the notification service. Right now, the notification service is a little bit left behind, but we know that there are some organizations out there and some folks out there that are using the notification service. And if you like to contribute to Keptn, but maybe you feel not ready yet for Keptn Core, then this notification service is the perfect place to get started. Right now, it's basically covering 3 different notifications for Microsoft Teams, for Slack, and for WebEx. But if you feel that you're an expert on Microsoft Teams or you're an expert on Slack and you just want to have this one functionality being implemented and you can take ownership of this, please reach out to us. We're happy to assist you here if you want to, or if you want to help us in upgrading the notification service and also then maintaining the notification service for your favorite notification platform. That would really help the project and really help this notification service. So if you want to participate here, please let us know. You can also just put a comment here in the chat. I see that quite some folks are joining today, so this is kind of my ask for today. And now I've taken 4 minutes of our meeting time. I hope that's still fine. I'm already handing over to Johannes the other things. You can read them, but my 2 asks for today are really sign up for the newsletter. There will be the first newsletter on Monday. It will have great content. It will feature the community rockstars and all the latest updates on the project. And the second ask is, please, if you are interested in contributing to Keptn, maybe the notification service is for you. Okay, with this, we can skip the other 2 parts, and I'm handing over here to Johannes for the release notes. Do you want me to click on this, or do you want to share your screen?
Let me share a screen.
Okay, okay.
All right. Yeah, Jürgen already mentioned it. Today is a release day, and we are excited to get the Keptn 0.8.2 release released. The last pieces are currently getting finished, and we are confident that we will get it out the door by tomorrow. And let's just take a look at the key announcements of this release. It's a patch release with not that many feature changes, but really cool things that we as a team have accomplished. First, with this release, we did some changes in Keptn, especially in the Helm chart of Keptn, so that we are now able to deploy Keptn using Keptn. This should also help us as a project to drive the vision of having Keptn as a delivery tool, as we are using then it by our own, and new features or new ideas we can then test out based on our implementation, and the entire ecosystem and the entire community can take a benefit of that. A great outcome of this was definitely a GitHub action that has been implemented. I linked it here. It's the GitHub action send event, and this one allows you to send a Keptn event using GitHub. This is the closing link of having your CI, which will be obviously on GitHub, linked to your Keptn deployment. Next to that, we also did some improvements in the Keptn core in the sense of hardening Keptn components. And one important note on that is that Keptn services are now, or containers are now running as non-root users to make it more secure. And some changes have been made in the so in the airbags of Kubernetes. And on the bridge side, there are several enhancements when it comes to the service screen as well as to the sequence screen. For the sequence screen, we are now able to better visualize multiple sequences that are executed in one particular stage. They are now separated and makes it easier to follow the sequence execution. And in the service screen, as already have been shown in the last review, but just let me mention it again. There we now show not the list of executions that happened in the past, but rather the list of deployments that are currently running for this particular service. This should also make it easier to see the behavior, to see the status of your service and to get an understanding what is currently deployed or where an evaluation happened. All right, yeah, I have to add a screenshot for that, but this will happen tomorrow. And please take a look at all the bug fixes and minor changes that have also been implemented in this release and will then be shipped by tomorrow. And as usual, to upgrade your Keptn installation, please use the Keptn CLI with the command Keptn upgrade, and this then automatically takes your Keptn or lifts it from a 0.8.1 to an 0.8.2 version. All right, yeah, I don't want to take too much time on that, as we will see a couple of features I mentioned here also now in the review. And this is the point where I want to hand over to Elizabeth, showing us what she did on the notification bar in the Keptn's bridge.
Hi, so I have to admit, I just deleted my cluster now. I can't get my local environment running, so I have to skip for now. But the summary is the update bar is now darker blue with white
You
text
could
in
open
it.
the pull request, and I added the screenshot there. Maybe you
Oh,
can show
yeah, that
us
is.
that.
So I can screen share
Oh, that would be great because
because
for me
I
it's not
have an
working
active
right
cluster
now.
in front of me.
Mhm.
Okay. Do a single
Okay.
screen? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So this is now the new notification bar. And yeah.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, the colors changed, and what I also did is that there is only one notification left before. I think there were per version one notification bar. So if you were more than one version behind, there would be like 4 or 6 or something like that. So I think that's more a bit more condensed now. Yeah. Thanks, Klaus, for sharing.
And the link is also working now, correct?
Yes.
When I click there, I get to the upgrade documentation. Yep. Perfect. Because this is what the user wants. He wants to get directly forward to the instructions to follow. Great.
Okay, so I will go on. So my part is the new the adjustments to the chart type of the evaluation. Before it was not possible. Yeah, there weren't any there was just one thing, one SLO shown in the overlay, and now there are all active SLOs shown. So response time or response time 90%, etc. Additional to that, the value also shows 2 decimals instead of 0. And also the y-axis on the right changed so that also lower values are more visible and not with an interval of 50 or something. Yeah, and that's basically it.
Klaus, you have here a very, very long SLI name. Can you click on that?
Yes.
And how
Yeah,
does it behave
that's
now?
it's adjusted. So yeah, it's the greater one. So when I disable the greater one, you can see more the one with the less values.
Mhm. And also the entire name is shown in the overlay in the tooltip, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
And also to mention, now the display name is shown in the chart instead of the metric name.
Perfect. Mhm.
Okay, that was from my side. So I will hand over to Christian.
Thank you. So sharing. Okay, so as you heard, we are working on a 0.82 release, and I have contributed 2 quick bug fixes to it, not really noteworthy to show. Then the next one, I just want to quickly talk a little bit about it. We were alerted about the codecof.io security issue. This is all public, so you can go and read it up if you want to. Essentially, the way we use codecof is a bash script that we're loading via curl and then execute this bash script. And codecof has notified everyone essentially that this bash script was compromised for a couple of days and that environment variables were sent to external services. And yeah, so what I did is I verified which environment variables did we pass to this bash script, or at least which one did we have in the GitHub action, and whether any tokens, credentials, or whatever were among those environment variables. And luckily for us, our setup was in a way that we didn't leak any security relevant credentials or anything. I can actually, I think I can show this here, because I tested this via a pull request, and this is basically the way that that they said that you can test it with. So just instead of calling the bash script, just check with env which environment variables you have, and if the action is still here, let me see. Here's the coverage report. Yeah, there we go. There you can see which environment variables we have. And I think 99% of them are set by GitHub automatically, like the Selenium, whatever. We don't use Selenium, GitHub path, and etc. And I think somewhere down below, there is some things from us, although I think in this case, there is not. And like, this is one way to verify it. And the other way to verify it is obviously to look at the source code of this action and see if we pass any credentials as environment variables. And also did that, and the answer was no, like we don't pass anything here. Another one also related to GitHub Actions. We had a contribution by Josh, and what he basically did is he enabled pull requests, or at least the CI workflow for pull requests on various event types. which looked fine when this PI was merged, but it turned out that it led to duplicate runs in the CI system on certain events. So for instance, if I open a pull request and I label it immediately, I would get 2 runs. And this is not just true for when I do it. This is also true when a bot like Dependabot does it. So we get many duplicate CI runs, which is just not worth the trouble. And I looked if it is possible to detect duplicate runs and then cancel the second run. But the answer is this is not easily possible. So I had to revert this change, and I have removed the types setting here at all. So now the pull request CI job is running when the pull request is opened or when a new commit is pushed, which was the default case before. Any questions so far on those 2 issues or tasks? Okay. Right. And last but not least, I did some small contributions, mainly cleanups or some CI task updates on some Keptn sandbox repositories, which is also not really worth to show because this is really like 1 or 2 lines of changes for like 10 repositories, and that's about it. And yeah, with that, I'll hand over to Ermin.
Thank you very much. I'm going to present the pull request regarding the better sequence visualization when having more than 1 sequence in a stage. Actually, I showed you that one already in the last community meeting. It's in the case that we have multiple sequences configured in one stage. Previously, all the tasks were just listed, and you as a user had no idea where the next sequence started. And now with the new feature or in the new bridge, you can see, for example, in this case, we have a failed delivery, and the rollback sequence is a separate sequence that was executed on that stage. And you see those 2 sequences. What I'm showing you now, what has improved since last time is, as you can see when I click on staging, the last sequence that was executed is expanded automatically. For example, when I check the def, so the last sequence here is expanded automatically. And what you also can do is, for example, if I'm interested into that task, as you can see when I click through the tasks, the link, the deep link is also adjusted. And when I use this deep link again, it will open that sequence and focus that task. So expand the sequence where this task is in, and also expand that event there. Yeah. Also, you have the option now to have a look at the payload of each event, and you can also have a look at the payload of the sequence event, so the sequence triggered event, and also the sequence finished one is here at the very bottom. So you have insights also into the sequence triggered and finished event payloads from this screen here. Yeah. That's regarding this pull request. And one more thing that was done during this sprint, we had a bug that was reported. Actually, this was an issue in the core when, for example, for tests, multiple tasks were executed. The sequence was continued on the next stage. Now, if the test fails, or if one of the tests at least fails, the sequence will stop there. So actually, this was fixed by the pull request here from Bernd, and now the sequence or that stage is marked as failed, and no further sequences will be executed there. Yeah, that is verified, so that works now as expected. Yeah, actually that's all from my side, and I'm handing over to Johannes.
All right, then I'm back again. What do I have to share? I also touched some code in this sprint, not really code, but more manifests. First of all, I split the Kubernetes role Keptn configure bridge into two purposes. One purpose for the secret management and the other one for restarting a pod. Why was this necessary? Yeah, because we had an security assessment, and there we got there twice that it makes sense to split up this role into two components because there are two responsibilities baked into, as I said, the pod handling as we have here, and then the secret handling as it's covered by this part. And this is important, and this is a best practice to have all secret related permissions also in a separate role. And this is what I did. I created a separate role, one for managing the bridge credentials with these permissions, and another one for managing the bridge pod that is allowed to get the pod from the Kubernetes API, delete it, and also delete the collection. I think I can't really show that. It's just what changes in the role of Kubernetes. And the second one was very similar. Here we had the situation that the Keptn configuration service had permissions he actually did not require. He had all permissions to read a secret or to manage a secret, but he just needs read access. And what I did here is I removed, let me just show you. I created a Keptn get secrets role and yeah, assigned it to the Kubernetes, to the configuration service so that he just has the permissions to read and not to delete or update or do any other things with services, as he does not require that. All right, yeah, these two were changes on the Helm chart on the Keptn manifest. And then I want to bring up an additional one. I think that one was overlooked a little bit because we also did changes on the daily version check. And let me just show you that. Why was this required? Because the last time we rolled out Keptn, when we rolled out Keptn 0.8.1, a couple of users kind of asked why they don't see the notification on the top. And the only reason was that they declined our daily version check mechanism. And yeah, this was kind of a reason why we thought that it would make sense to make it more prominent for users, especially for new ones, to also accept it or to accept this feature and to make sure to get notifications when a new version is available. This also should help to make sure all Keptn users update their Keptn environments and to have them on the latest, greatest version. Here you get now the recommendation that you should accept it, and some changes have been made here in the text as well as here on the user, so here in the top right corner, were also some changes made in the text, as well as here this toggle is enabled by default and not disabled anymore.
I have a recommendation or an idea here. Now that we release every 4 weeks, or at least that's the plan, how about we notify the user, let's say 6 weeks after the installation, hey, by the way, you've disabled the version check. If you want to get blah, 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 then please enable it again, because somehow we can estimate that there is a new version.
Correct. And And thanks for bringing that up, because I forgot that we do that now. After a couple of days, we delete the configuration, or we again tell the user you don't have this enabled. When you do that, you get notifications about new releases.
How many days is it?
7 or
Weekly.
5 weekly.
Okay. Let's see how users respond. That would be annoying for me, to be honest, if it is weekly. But let's say every 4 weeks or something, because that makes more sense for our release schedule.
Yeah.
But let's see how users react to it.
Correct.
I think it's a really cool feature that we now enable this, as people were not sure how to enable it again, and I think it really helps them. But yeah, if we get responses that it's it might be annoying for someone, we can always change it.
Correct. Yep. All right. And then, since Florian is not here today, he asked me to show what he did in this sprint. And yeah, let me go over his issues. First of all, he worked on a GitHub action that allows us to set up a Keptn installation on a Kubernetes cluster. We call this one always the master Keptn or main Keptn, as in the future, this particular Keptn will take care of doing the delivery. And let me just show you what Florian did here, or what he was working on. That one is still not merged. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong repo. Yep, for some reason I'm on the wrong one. That one. I messed up with the links. As I said, here in the Keptn organization, he provided a GitHub action that prepares a Kubernetes cluster on GKE and then installs Keptn on there. And additionally, you get all the features and scripts like installing Istio. Then we also decided that we want to have on this cluster an environment that behaves like a remote execution plane. And with this script, you can set up a remote execution plane. Then this one, as the name already says, it sets up the Keptn project with doing a Keptn create project and then a Keptn create service. And there are then, yeah, that's basically it. Setting up the Kubernetes cluster, installing Keptn on top, and then setting up the project and service so that we are then ready to trigger the first deployment. And the other action that Florian worked on was then setting up self-monitoring on this particular Kubernetes cluster, and we decided to go with Dynatrace for doing that. And this is actually linked right here. You can also reuse that action when you want. You can bake it into your CI pipeline, and so you can then deploy Dynatrace on your cluster and also set up or deploy the Dynatrace SLI service and the Dynatrace service as they are used by Keptn, so that you have then a full monitoring available. And as I said, that one is currently not merged, but let's just take a look what he did. Yeah, he provided the action itself that takes a couple of input parameters like the Dynatrace tenant, API token, pass token, and then an option whether to enable or disable self-monitoring or the name of the project. There's version of the Dynatrace service and Dynatrace SLI service, and based on these parameters, it then sets it up, the monitoring on your environment. And yeah, this is basically done by this deployed dynatrace.sh script.
By the way, because you just have this open, line 30 to line 38, this is a good example that people can improve on. Not criticizing here, just saying it could be improved, because you here have the API token and the pass token as an environment variable, and that would be an attack vector that was used for code coverage.io. In our case, I guess it's not that much of a deal, because the deploy Dynatrace's H script is in the same repository as where this environment is defined. But the moment you load something from an external service here, you basically risk exposing such variables. So I'll actually keep that in my mind and see if we can improve something here, or at least recommend it to Florian.
Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, security is always an important point to consider, and when we can improve, especially at these two lines, then we should do that. Christian, do you know how to address that one?
Well, for one, you don't need it as an environment variable. You could pass it as a parameter into the script. That's like 30% better, but not 100% better.
Mm-hmm.
And the other option I need to investigate. It basically depends who needs the secret, and maybe you can handle the secret outside of the action somehow.
Okay.
But this is now within the action itself. So unless there is any code loaded afterwards, shouldn't be a problem. But as soon as we load some code from outside, obviously it could be a problem. So right now this is safe. That's what I want to clarify. But we need to make sure it will be safe in the future when we do some changes as well.
Got it. Thanks. All right. Yeah. And with these two actions in place now, Florian also got or went one step further, because he combined everything into a GitHub workflow. And this one now allows us to create a cluster, install Keptn, set up monitoring, and trigger the first delivery. And let me show you that based on his repository. He has it currently on his private account, but will be moved then into Keptn. But what we can see here in the main.yaml of this workflow, I mean, it's really straightforward. As I said, it's first set up Keptn in the sense of creating the cluster and installing then this particular Keptn version. This is then the Keptn that takes care of doing the delivery. Then he pulls in the second GitHub action, which sets up the monitoring on that particular environment. And here he passes in the token and the tenant and the API and the pass token. As we currently discussed, this can be improved. In the next step, this action updates a couple of resources to make the deployment then successful already, and therefore the shipyard will be added, as well as a load test for Gmeter. And last but not least, this is the final task. This action triggers the delivery by sending a Keptn Cloud event to this particular Keptn installation. This is a typical event. And the outcome is then, as we can see here, in this environment, we have a dev, hardening, and production environment. Additionally, an environment that behaves like a remote execution plane. Just to let you know, this one should be, from a logical point of view, on this order. And I think we are currently working on an improvement on that, so that this production environment is closer to that, because it kind of groups, or should be in this particular group. And what we have now right here is a deployed Keptn installation in dev, hardening, and not yet in prod, because here we set up an approval process where someone has to take care of accepting it and then triggering the delivery. And let's just take a look into this delivery process, because as I said, the script also uploads Gmeter scripts, and they are executed. And we have also an evaluation then triggered to get more insights about currently the Mongo data store. And here we are taking a look at the CPU time, error rate, IO timeout, response time, and throughput. And as we also want to integrate this particular setup in our CI so that we have then daily deliveries, we get more and better insights into Keptn itself so that we also can improve there and also be more, also get information when something gets worse. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward. This is, I think, the last missing piece on that story, to also link the GitHub action I showed you right here, that one, with our nightly build so that we can deliver Keptn on a daily basis. All right, yeah, this brings me back to our agenda, and now we are actually at the end with the last item, and are now open for comments, discussions, or feedback. Please feel free.
Wow, there is it was a lot of content, really cool progress. So right now there are no questions coming in. So from my side, just kind of the ask, please sign up for the newsletter. We will start on Monday to send it out, and it will always have the information on the Keptn project, like also on the latest releases. So if you want to stay up to date, please make sure to subscribe to the newsletter. The link is also in the chat, and you will find it also on keptn.sh/community. You will find the newsletter there. If there are no more questions coming in, I think we can close it a little bit earlier. And I'm really looking forward to the new release, to execute my Keptn upgrade tomorrow. And everyone that is also running a .8 installation of Keptn or an older installation of Keptn, make sure to upgrade and to always get the latest and greatest of Keptn. The team is really working hard to provide you the best experience, and therefore make sure to also receive all the new features. Then thanks everyone. I think for the other parts, we kind of also can keep it for the community focus meeting for next week. So we are closing it here, and thanks everyone for joining. See you all next time.
See you. Bye.
We'll see you. Bye.